They put the Chevron onto pole ahead of Dino Scribanti and Ross Lazarus. First of the Porsches is Mike Morris, Lindenberg there in fifth. Look out for Kluger pushing through in the second Porsche.
60 minutes of action ahead of us as we get underway. Remember, there's a compulsory pit stop window between minute 20 and minute 40 that they have to do, as it's Dino Scribanti who leads off the line there. Ross Lazarus into third position, so not such a good start. It's Barry Scott, I think. Yeah, it's Barry Scott behind the wheel of the B19. And look at the drive that Lazarus gets out of the tight turn 2.
And gets round, and there goes our Willis. He's probably going to be in that car now, handed over by Stewie Grant. There comes the leaders, and in fact, lapping Scribanti as he goes into turn 2 and out of turn 2. A bit of a change up here. Could be Lazarus going around the outside. Can he get past the Chevron there side by side? Look at those brake discs absolutely lit up. There's a Porsche in the way. Wow, that got close.
That's exactly what I meant earlier on, and Ross Lazarus would have had his heart in his mouth, I'm sure. But this is a straight fight for the lead. There's a battle between Alan Kernick and Ross Lazarus, and now you can see the visibility problem.
Now look at that as they head up towards Sassel Corner, hard on the brakes. The sun is disappeared behind the mountains, and it's now...
on that fast sweep, that could be very, very dangerous, because these guys, look at that. Look at how busy it is, and they can't really see because the lights would blind you in the dust.
Back markers are going to play a role here. This is Lazarus trying to keep out Kernick and Scott's car. He goes through the middle of the two back markers into Castrol Edge. He's got ahead. Has the Chevron been able to do the same thing? It has. It sneaks ahead, and the Mercedes-Benz and Mini were just split by the two leaders. It's a ding-dong battle here for this lead. There's nothing in it between them. As you can see, the moon is out now. 7.5 minutes to go. And, oh, the Chevron's in. Scott and Kernick's car is in with 7.5 minutes to go. Hopefully they can get that car back out on the track. No, that's it. Over and done. Scott and Grieve make up the second row as they come around turn 14 and about to get underway for race 1. We're looking at 8 laps of action, and joining me in the commentary booth, Dave Richardson. Dave, some massive big fields of cars here at the Midas Historic Tour, and especially in Gauteng, where we get a lot more drivers come into play.
Well, that's what happened. It's not too far from home, and we can see it turn out there. Claire Vale out in her Porsche for a change. Alan Kernick in Barry Scott's car. He's been preparing that car, and I suppose this is the prize. Let's see if he can pedal that car. But into the front goes Wilburski, followed by Du Toit, Claire Vale, and that's John Grieve in the famous magenta Porsche.
Coming into turn number 3 and 4, heading up around that one. Josh Broom sneaks up ahead. Fear, unfortunately, not coming to grips with Colin Ellison as they went into the bowl.
I think Alan Kernick also taking a little bit easy. It's not his car. It's worth more than a few bob, and I think he could be easily a bit further up the field, but he is just taking it a bit easier. It looks like Doc Ferry in the 930 RSR is going to take him into turn 1, and he does so. So I think AJ just finding his way around the circuit.
These guys had a fantastic outing in the first one. Will Claire Vale be able to outdo Jonathan Du Toit, or is Willie Hepburn going to throw a little bit in the mix? Yes, he does. He goes on the inside, tries to sneak through, and gets ahead of Claire Vale into turn number 2.
Yeah, I think she was a little bit intimidated by 1.5 tons of Camaro heading it towards the side of her 917, and she backed off a bit. On board now with Josh Broom, who is Mr. Automate, the MD of Automate, and he's on the tail of Alan Kernick, who this time has certainly got the pedal down and got used to the car in the first race.
AJ Kernick is going to give John Grieve a good run here. He's decided to go a little bit quicker this time.
And that car started the day with a severely slipping clutch, which seems to have sort of fixed itself during the day because they were really battling in the first race.
Right on the tailpiece there. Then it's 3 and 4. Good battle here between the two of them. And then just in the background, looks like Josh Broom has moved up into 5th place. And he's now being hassled by the second of the Du Toits. And he's out there in the Chevy Camaro. That's Mark Du Toit.
Good to see Kernick driving again. He doesn't do too much driving these days. Well known, of course, for Formula V exploits. But he's making a move on Grieve. Can he pull it off? Not this time.
Has a big look up the inside, but has the door firmly shut and has to try and find another way past. Heading up towards 3 and 4. Porsche 911 RSR taking on the B19. Looks like Alan's getting to grips with that car quite nicely, and I think starting to put in some really decent lap time. Coming up, this is lap 2 of 8 up in the West Bank corner, and you can see these guys not holding anything back. I can tell you, looks like Willie Hepburn might be slowing down slightly there. That's going to be a bit of a pity, because there goes Kernick on his inside of Grieve.
That just shows you how...
goes around Hepburn.
It just shows you how nimble those B19s are. Very lightweight, of course, and not massive horsepower. Certainly probably not as much horsepower as the RSR of Grieve, but well driven by AJ Kernick. And now he's got Detroit in his sights. Can he do anything about the older and slightly quicker B8 model Chevron of Jonathan Detroit?
2 cars out of a field of 13. Kernick and Grieve to do that.
Yeah, the field a little depleted from the first race, sadly, but it was a long race day and the guys were doing quite a number of categories and these things happen. But Kernick certainly...
Looks like that might be terminal for Justin Ladner. So 3 cars. Kernick putting pressure onto Detroit. I think
for this meeting, and it really is quite rapid. Jonathan, of course, they're very cautious with the engine in that car. It's a Ford BDG 2-litre engine that works on hours, and they really do go gently with it. And certainly Kernick is now locked on the tail of the older model B8 Chevron, and the B19 looks like he's making a move down the inside, down the mine shaft.
Side-by-side action. Chevrons. It's not what we want to be seeing, but a little bit of sparky coming out there as well as they get onto the brakes. But Jono's got that inside line, so it should have it covered.
Well, it really is fantastic here in South Africa to see these type of cars racing in what is effectively a regional championship, a club race meeting, and I don't think there are too many places in the world where you get this quality of car in everyday racing.
In amongst the back markers now on the final lap, and it looks like things have changed up there. Suku's got ahead of McLaughlin. So final classifications here for race number 2. Checkered flag is out though, and Detroit takes another victory in the Chevron B8. It's followed home 2 seconds adrift by Alan Kernick, and John Grieve hung on to the 3rd place in the magenta Porsche 911 RSR. Detroit comes through in 4th in the Chevy Camaro Broom.
Congratulations, you certainly provided us with a great dice there.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I had a good start. Willie got ahead of me, and then he had a problem with his car. And then I was looking in my mirror, and I see this little Chevron B19 coming closer and closer, and I was getting quite worried. And towards the end of the race, then Claire got it. I don't think she saw me, and Alan got past me, and but luckily I was able to get him back at the end.
So, Alan, how was it from your perspective?
It was great fun, and he was the better guy on the day. We had a lovely time, and really must thank Barry. Yeah, it's his racing car, and Data Dot and Tana, who are the sponsors of it. And a wonderful dice, huge amount of fun, lovely car, and a deserved winner.
Passing is required. I think Groenewald has got that in his game plan here for race 2. It's going to be 10 laps of action down towards turn 1 as soon as those lights go out.
And away they go. Very good start there from Henny Groenewald as Colin Frost slots into 2nd position from pole position. He's going to not be happy with that one. And Barry Scott a little bit further back.
Then you've got Totoy. Right behind him comes Jenkins. So Ekos beating out the 911 Carrera. And right behind them, Lee Thompson. Now, he said he was...
The battle has resumed, and here comes Scott on the inside. Can he do the outbraking maneuver? Yes, he can. The car's so nimble, and he can brake so late in that car. Can he make it stick?
Oh, you can see that Frosty wasn't going to give it too much room, and still a long way to go in this race, so maybe just hanging back slightly. Detroit behind him, then Thompson, then Jenkins, Ellison being pressured by the second.
All of that has allowed Henny Groenewald to open up a bit of a gap.
A real good battle on their hands. Speaking of a good battle, the front end has turned into a phenomenal one as Barry Scott and Groenewald go side by side out of turn 4, Castrol Edge corner.
This is a battle between power, lots of power, and little weight.
Yeah, power to weight ratio here, but in a slightly different format and context. This time power wins out, the weight is in 2nd place, and well, there's only a couple of corners to go for these guys. You see, unfortunately, one of the Mustangs pulling to the sideline there, and that was actually Franco Scribanti in that car. His car had some problems, they didn't get it sorted out. And speaking of sorting out, let's get something sorted out now. That's not Barry Scott at the wheel of that car with 1 lap to go. It's actually AJ Kernick. The two of them always share that little B19, and he's here in the 2nd race. That's checkered flag as AJ Kernick manages to keep the Chevron in 2nd ahead of Frost. Thompson wins out Trans Am's tight affair, and Jonathan Detroit only 0.3 of a second ahead of Kernick in the B19. Claire Val looking good in the Porsche 917. And watch out for Henny Groenewald coming through the field. You see, they put him into 6th place on the grid alongside Garth Roberski. Joining me in the commentary booth for this one, Dave Richardson. Nice field of cars here and some really spectacular looking vehicles.
Yeah, nice to see Henny in this new Lola. Carl was going to drive it, but he found it a little bit quick. So the man in there, Henny G, that's the boy who'll make it go.
Multiple South African champion in various classes, including the big Westbank V8 supercars. And of course, this car will be similar in terms of the power. 3. And look at Willie in the background sideways, and in the foreground, Claire Val sneaking up the inside, looking for a way through on Kernick.
Yeah, great to see Claire's car going so well now. They've had such problems with this car. She's driving well. Here we go on board. And she's having a go at Kernick up into the top. And will she get to Toy? Not quite.
Quite a decent maneuver, though. I must say, to get up on the inside of that B19 is not easy, especially in the bigger Porsche 917. As she comes out there, the gatorback lady, absolutely perfectly done there on Kernick. Kernick wants to come back at her, and DeToy leads out. Here comes Groenewald, though. Henny G having a look on the inside. Can he make it stick? Not just yet. Also, having the door firmly shut there. And AJ is definitely having some fun there with Henny.
And that car, of course, seems to have quite massive power. It's got a Ford GT gearbox, so it's able to put it on the road and not brake like Wilburski's had problems with his Lola. Also, Kernick going very well. It isn't his car, it's Barry Scott's car, so he might be being a little bit cautious.
I love the fact that we've now got 3 major manufacturers when it comes to building these replicas, or the type cars that are out on this track at the moment. And one of them now being SP Racing.
No problems, and just watch out for Henny. I think Jonathan's smaller Chevron on the back straight. Can he get past Claire Vale? I think I'd be nervous if I had Henny behind me.
I would be very nervous. But remember, Claire Vale has been at the top end of motorsport for a long, long time.
That's right.
Involved in Subaru racing and in Westbank V8. So she'll know what it's like to have Henny Groenewald coming up from behind and looking for a way through. This time, she's not going to let him through.
So they're all on equal times, and it looks like that Kernick is now just going to sit there and watch the show. He's got the best seat in the house here.
Looks like another T70 out there, unfortunately. So the other 2 Lola men not having a great day in the saddle. But there's Henny Groenewald into turn 1, and done deal. That is first place in the bag. And let's see if Claire's got an answer. During the race day, as more and more rubber gets put down, there's the power of the Porsche. Goes through, but check out the handling coming. Whoa! And as I say that, the handling, Claire runs a little wide, and John has to take evasive action.
Yeah, I think he was looking for a space that wasn't there that time. But it's amazing how the big cars and the smaller cars...
Claire Val and Ben Morgan, who takes the